Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to adapt a really weird Spider-Man character into film. Madam Web made it to theaters and simply further solidified that the era of superhero film being guaranteed box office bank is definitively over, and that Sony's not MCU, not Spider-Verse is not really of that much interest to the general public. But while Madam Web is not going to make more $1 billion at the box office, it is actually incredibly entertaining, even if it is for a lot of the wrong and some of the right reasons. We are going to talk about Madam Web this week. I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. First of all, do me a favor, hit subscribe and the bell. I make about one of these videos a week. They're all great, so please don't miss even one. That would help me out, and it will help you out staying up to date on usually comics, but also not great movies. Nobody the hell asked for Madam Web. Nobody wanted a Madam Web movie. Absolutely nobody. If you gave me a list of Spider-Man adjacent characters to make films about, Madam Web would probably be the last on the list, and I'm not exaggerating. I would have thought a movie about Robbie Robertson or Ned Leeds as solo characters potentially more adaptable. And to this movie's infinite credit, they managed to make a movie that adapted the character of Cassandra Webb, gave her a backstory, managed to make that movie engaging and entertaining the entire time. They did not manage to make this movie truly that good, however. But in that same breath, for the negative press that you are hearing, this movie is not substantially worse than a lot of the recent Marvel or DC movies that came out. Just because those Rotten Tomato scores, aggregate scores, are so bad doesn't necessarily mean that this movie makes Thor: Love and Thunder or Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom or The Marvels or Quantumania comparatively much better. Frankly, I would put most of those films on about the same level for a lot of different reasons. Quantumania, I just wanted it to be over about 40 minutes before it actually did end, and at least Madam Web had me engaged and interested in what was happening until the very end of the movie. Even if it was just me waiting for more corny lines or for Tahirahim's Ezekiel character to get his due with pretty much equal zeal. Dakota Johnson is not that great of an actress. Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, and Celeste O'Connor may be just fine, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Emma Roberts, Tahirahim, and Adam Scott, Mike Epps are all fine actors or comedians in their own right. This movie required absolutely no skill whatsoever because the script's dialogue is there either as exposition for the plot or quotably bad lines Tommy Wiseau himself would be incredibly jealous of. Madam Web opens with a lady in the jungle searching for a spider with a man who is apparently there to hand her an umbrella. This man is Ezekiel. Is that a first name? Is it a last name? Who is he? Why is he looking for the spider? How did he get there? What are his motivations for doing these things? These are the great questions that masterful screenwriters would want to generate in their audiences to drive suspense and interest. But our screenwriters, Matt Sazma and Burke Sharpless, also the writers of Morbius, Dracula Untold, and Gods of Egypt, go one step further and masterfully dare to never answer these fucking questions at all. When Constance Webb says, "Thank you for the umbrella," this wacky line is the extent of the explanation for his actual purpose on screen. He betrays Constance after she finds this special spider used by the Peruvian Araña tribe to gain speed, strength, agility, poison, and precognition powers, and steals the spider for himself, which he keeps apparently for about 36 years. Why keep it? I don't know, and neither does Matt Sazma. Constance dies in the pool with the spider people who morbed in and saved her baby and gave her baby spider powers. After getting thrown into the water and technically dying, then experiencing weird Bill Murray Groundhog Day effect with time, Cassandra Webb shrugs this off and then goes to Ben Parker's sister-in-law's baby shower for a contractually unnamed baby, a baby who would be roughly the same age as Tom Holland is supposed to be in 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming, which, oh wow, Peter Parker was born in the MCU the year after the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi came out, and That is making my arthritis act up. Could somebody please get me a cane and a fentanyl patch and an Ensure because I belong in a nursing home? When Mike Epps dies, a character named O'Neill, who is introduced only to prove that Cassandra should be able to change the future, but apparently cannot for the only black dude in the cast. Cassandra then realizes her powers and is going to his funeral by train, and that begins the chance encounters with Julia Carpenter, who was also called Cornwall, Martha Franklin, and Anya Corazon, who, to the credit of the script and director, actually become pretty fully developed characters along with Cassie Webb, in as much as this movie would actually allow. The rest of the movie is Cassie figuring out her powers and attempting to evade Ezekiel, who is conspicuously dressed like Temu.com Spider-Man for no discernible reason and has all the same powers except no web shooters, and is still somehow able to follow them through a city while they're moving by car like a T-1000. He also apparently has millions of dollars and access to NSA surveillance tech used by Zosia Mamet's character, who I think is just entirely unnamed in the entire movie. He's stalking the girls because they apparently kill him in the future, when they also get spider powers. How did he get the money? How did the girls get spider powers? Why does the trio of women want to try and kill him? The writers masterfully keep us in rapt suspense and dare to let the viewer use their imagination to figure out the answers to these questions once again. Ezekiel is a mystery. Not even the writers know who he is. A true mystery. Could he be Mysterio? Legally, he cannot. The final battle with Ezekiel is actually pretty cool and well thought out action-wise. Some of the whole precognition thing gets a little contradicted, but it shows the future is something that's actually mutable and changeable. Of course, the battle comes at a cost and puts Madam Web in her signature comic book state as a blind, wheelchair-bound woman who is more mentor and plot device than she is an actual real character. Again, I am astonished that this film exists. S.J. Clarkson directs some surprisingly good action and makes a movie that looks good and passes the Bechdel test multiple times over with some pretty decently imagined characters, even if the writers of this movie should be tried in The Hague for their multiple crimes against humankind. There should, and I am 100% serious, be a collaboration, a film in which these guys get together with Uwe Boll and Tommy Wiseau and Roger Corman to make a movie strictly based on as many public domain horror characters as they possibly can, just to make what would be unquestionably the best worst movie of all time. Should you spend money on Madam Web? I don't have a license to provide financial or tax advice, so I would recommend you consult a CPA, your attorney, a trusted priest or member of the clergy, your probation officer or parole officer before attending this film. But if you should choose to see Madam Web now or in the future, please note that it contains such masterful lines as the following. Crazy shit is happening right now and I don't know why, so stop asking. Seriously, don't do dumb things. I know Taekwondo. And of course my favorite line, which closes the film. The best part about the future is that it hasn't happened yet. Please use Madam Web responsibly, and may God have mercy on your soul. This has been the Doomcast. We'll see you next week.